What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another edition of the Pick and Pop podcast. My name is Bryan. I'm alongside.
Aldrin.
And today's episode is called Ring Culture. How was your week?
Week was pretty good, man. Can't complain. Just been relaxing before the grind back on Monday. How about you, man? How's it going?
It's going well. Yeah, just been relaxing this weekend. I just grabbed some food. My friend yesterday.
Yeah,
And then just
that's
been
cool.
relaxing, just playing video games and just watching
Yeah.
TV. So
I cooked chicken the other day, so that's good. I haven't cooked in a while.
there you go. Nice and healthy eating.
Yeah, just been on my healthy, man.
That's what's up. Yeah, you got to.
Yeah,
Yeah, you got to for sure. But yeah, another special episode today. We're
yeah.
gonna talk first. We're gonna start off talking about Damian Lillard. We haven't spoke about this topic because I think last week we did a special episode. But Damian made some comments about the ring culture and how he doesn't really kind of like where basketball is headed. Whereas essentially, like it's all about the rings, and if you don't have rings, then you're basically nothing. And people don't respect like the journey and the grind and like he's talking about how like people like Charles Barkley, just people forgot how great he was just because he doesn't have any rings.
Yeah.
And people have been pressuring him to kind of leave Portland and go somewhere, chase rings, to somehow give his career more validation. Some people liked it, some people don't. What's your take on the comments he made?
I'm like 50-50 because Charles Barkley was great. We could go down a list of guys who didn't win, like Tracy McGrady, Grant Hill, and so forth. You know what I mean? And like Yao never got a ring. Um, or like some of those bigs like Patrick Ewing, and they were great.
Karl
That's
Malone.
another big one. So I'm 50-50 on that take. But I do think Dame's time was done a while ago. I want to say 3 years ago. I think he should have left, even when CJ was still there. Just because like Portland, they're really a nice story when you see that they're in the playoffs and things like that. And then they just fizzle. And Dame could score like 40 and they'll lose by like 25. And it's like unfortunate. And we've been seeing that for years, ever since he stepped foot in the league. Even when he did have a team with LaMarcus Aldridge and guys like that,
Mhm.
Nurkic, obviously when Nurkic was decent. Um, so that's my take on that. What do you think?
It's tough, yeah, because obviously the whole reason why the game is played is because of championships. But I do get what he's saying. It's a team sport at the end of the day. You could be really great, and if you don't really have the teammates to back you up, you're not going to win anything, regardless of who you are. Because whether it's MJ, whether it's Magic, whether it's LeBron, they all won with having great teammates. So, you're not going to win with playing with a bunch of scrubs.
Yeah,
Dame hasn't, even like a Charles Barkley or Patrick Ewing, Karl Malone, all these guys never really played with another superstar, which is
mm,
why they probably ended up ringless. I mean, obviously, I know Karl Malone had Stockton, but Stockton was more of a pass first point guard, wasn't like a superstar. Ewing
I think they
never.
didn't win because of Jordan. That's why I think they didn't win.
Yeah, of course. And then Jordan obviously being there, the Bulls and Jordan and Pippen being together. It's hard to win a championship. It doesn't lessen your career if you didn't win a championship. I look at the championships more of if I'm comparing two players and it's like it's close, then I kind of would use the championship as like the factor of
Yeah,
like putting one over the other. But I don't necessarily think like Dwight Howard is better than Patrick Ewing just because he has a championship. I don't
yeah,
think Robert
that's
Horry
preposterous.
is better than Allen Iverson or anything like that. Like if you got two players of like maybe equal skill or it's close and then you're trying to kind of debate who's better, then you can kind of throw in the championships. But to just say someone's automatically better or someone ain't shit because they didn't win a ring is that I don't agree with. But
Me neither.
I mean, so
Like I said, it's literally 50-50 when you think about it. If you think about like what it takes to be good in this game. I mean, you play basketball to compete and obviously have fun, but the mindset is to win. And a lot of guys have lost sight of that, which is what I'm disappointed in. as far as like the new era of basketball.
Yeah, for sure, because you don't want to say rings don't matter because it's literally the whole purpose of the game, and you should
Yeah,
play to win. So it's a balance of there's certain players that didn't have the teammates, like I said, like a Patrick Ewing.
yeah,
And also Patrick Ewing also had to go up against Jordan because he did go to the finals twice in the 90s. But he also had to go against Jordan. So if it wasn't for Jordan, he probably would have had rings also. So it's tough.
absolutely.
You also there's other players in your era that are just obsessionally like just really great, and sometimes they're hard to get past. So there's a lot of factors that can come into play as far as why you don't win a championship.
Yeah,
Um, you know what I mean? So, and then also you look at for Ewing, for example, if he had gotten Allen Houston and Sprewell maybe earlier when he was in his prime, it probably would have been a different story. But
oh yeah, for sure,
he didn't get those guys until he was past his prime.
for
So
sure.
there's also that factor. So it's tough. It's 50-50, but I don't agree with saying rings don't matter because it does matter, but there's also you need context to why a player didn't win a ring, and not every player that won a ring is automatically better than a player that didn't win a ring. So
For
yeah,
sure.
that's just my take on it. But Dame is obviously he's an all-time great. He's already a top 75 player of all time. Whether he wins a ring or not, he's still cemented as one of the greats. But I would like to see him win a ring. I would like to see him leave Portland before it's too late. I just
Yeah.
don't think he'll ever do that, and he'll probably end up ringless because of it. But yeah, it's still I don't know. We were talking off air. You said you had Clyde Drexler over him as the greatest trailblazer ever.
I mean, yeah, Clyde went to the finals. He was the second best shooting guard in the league. Like, I mean, he had a lot of success with that squad. They weren't bums.
No, they weren't
They
bums.
always went far. You got to understand that the era too that Clyde dominated in the West. That was a hard era. So why wouldn't he be the better Portland Trailblazer? Think about it. Think about what Dame's done and think about what Clyde's done. And then Clyde left and won 2 rings.
Yeah, Clyde, and he took the Trailblazers to the finals twice.
Yeah,
Also,
that's
they lost against the Pistons and then they lost against the Bulls. So he had 2 trips to the finals. He's definitely accomplished more in Portland. So yeah, I could see that for
he's
sure.
a
I
better
think
Portland Trail, and it's not by much. I'm not saying that like Dame is not important. Dame maybe could be that second.
I think if you just broke it down, like I think Dame is a better player, like definitely more skilled. Like, if I'm building a team, I'd pick Dame over Clyde. But as far as who had the better career in Portland, the better trailblazer, yeah, I'd say Drexler. But like as an individual talent, I think Dame is better. But the better trailblazer would be Clyde. He had a better career there. Yeah, I would say that for sure.
I'm trying to think. I think I could build around Clyde. I mean, I could build around Dame too, so it's not like it's not it. What you're saying is not outlandish.
Yeah.
It's like a really good. You have like a good point of what you're saying, but I'm just telling you like my opinion. I think also I could build around Clyde and be fine and live with that decision and not regret it.
Yeah, you could, but like I said, I just think Dame is the better individual talent over
Yeah,
Clyde for sure.
I
But
respect that.
yeah, but Clyde had the better career, so yeah, you could put him at number one. And I guess you'd have to put Dame at two, because outside of that, I mean, I guess three you put like what's dude's name? Why did I forget his name? White boy.
Brandon Roy
No, he was injury prone. He won a championship with them in the '70s.
on the Trailblazers,
Yeah.
LaMarcus.
No, no, I said the '70s.
Oh, the '70s. Okay, I'm sorry, I misunderstood you.
Yeah, why I forget his name.
Um,
He's a white boy. He's an announcer now in college sports.
Walton.
Yeah, Bill Walton. There you go.
Yeah,
I
he's
guess
up there too, top 3.
yeah, he's top three. He won them a ring.
Hmm.
So you got to put him
That's
up there.
another guy too. That's debatable. I mean, at the time, obviously Walton isn't as accomplished as Dame as far as like
No,
what he's done.
and
He
he's
just
not.
has that ring.
Yeah, he did lead them to a ring. That was like the one year he's like healthy, which is very rare for him.
Mm.
But yeah, it was probably top three trailblazers all time. And Brandon Roy would have been another one. KD and that franchise, man, they should have had KD. They should have had Jordan. Like they messed up big time.
Yeah, no,
But
they would have won a lot of
they could have won a lot more.
yeah,
It
yeah,
is
for
what
sure.
it is. But hey, shout out to Dame. They're also going to be shutting Dame down for the season potentially, which I
Yeah,
think is the right move. They're not going anywhere. Like,
they're not. They're not.
um,
Um,
the,
do it now so that they don't regret it. Because I mean, Dame is gonna stay. He's not going nowhere. He says it. But you never know. Things happen in the summer.
yeah, I mean they're 13th. They're the 13th seed in the Western Conference and basically at the bottom, near the bottom. So they're not going to the playoffs. They're not going to the play-in. They're like like 4 games behind, no, 3.5 behind the play-in. So
Yeah.
there's no point. You're just wasting your time, and it sucks for them because they won too many. Really, they won too many games. Oh, well, they'll still be a lottery team, I guess, but like you know, you don't want to be. They won 32 games this year, and it just amounts to nothing. I feel bad for Chauncey. Hopefully, he kind of like doesn't get fired immediately and kind of gets a chance to grow as a coach over there. And he hopefully can get a legit team before so he can kind of see what he's really made of. Because
Yeah.
this Portland Trailblazers team is very young.
You don't know
Um,
what Chauncey is.
yeah, we don't know what it like. It kind of goes like it sucks because like the black coaches when they get a chance to coach, they have to take opportunities like this where they're just coaching like trash teams and trying to having to build them up. Whereas like a Steve Kerr, somebody could just walk into like the Warriors, coaching job. But
Yeah,
it is what it is. Um,
it's unfortunate, but
yeah,
that.
but Portland, they have a bright future. They have Afeni Simons, they have Shaden Sharp, they have some. They just got Cam Reddish. So they got some young pieces that could build. They can kind of build around in the future. It's just like Dame's timeline and their timeline is just completely off. Like if Dame wasn't on this team, they probably would have been like higher in the lottery. Could have had a chance at adding like a Victor or Scoot Henderson, which would have like sped up their development.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like now they're in that no man's land where like they're not bad enough to like get a top pick, but they're not good enough to go to the playoff, and they're like in that middle, and that's not where you want to be. So, and I don't see a superstar wanting to go to Portland, and it's tough. I mean, unless if they want to trade Simons and some of these young guys for a star, maybe, but that's about it.
Thing is,
I don't,
it's not desirable. It's
yeah,
not
so,
a destination. It has really good history and lore, and a lot of great players came from Portland. But it's one of those teams where it's like nobody says, "Hey, I'm going to Portland."
nah, so,
If somebody goes there, it's literally to play with Dame,
yeah.
literally to just be like, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna go play. I'm gonna suck it up. I'm gonna just play with Dame and then call it a day." That's literally what's gonna happen if that happens.
Yeah, exactly. So, we'll see how, what goes on with them in the future. Hopefully they can get like a high draft pick and I don't know. But it most likely won't happen just because of, Dame being there. It's kind of holding them up. I feel like they would have to just decide to trade Dame. He's not going to ask for a trade. And if I were them, I would just do it just because like they could have been in better position to get Victor or Scoot this year if he wasn't on the team. They still miss the playoffs, so it's like, what's the point? You either you got to rebuild or you got to, try to win. And if you're gonna try to win and keep him, then you know,
Do it now.
yeah, do it now. Get players, better players to put around him. Like if either rebuild or try to win, it's just that simple.
Yeah.
This middle ground that they're in is useless. But yeah, speaking of, because we'll stay out west, we'll move to the Mavs. Speaking of teams that are struggling,
Hmm.
Luka Doncic, he's not really happy right now. He's frustrated with all the losing that they've been doing. They got booed, at home during a recent game. They got swept this season by the Hornets. They're out of the play-in tournament. I believe they're 11th place right now. Like, what do you think of the whole like Luka and Mavs situation?
Don't be surprised this summer if you start hearing stuff. If if you, I feel like the summer is probably going to be plagued with that. Not plagued. That's the wrong choice of words. I feel like this summer is going to be one of those rumor things where I don't see Dallas getting better. They're going to get worse. They're going to get worse. They're probably not going to make it to the playoffs. And if they do, they're going to get swept first round, I think.
Yeah, they're not making it to the playoff. They're already out of the play-in right now. They're losing a lot. I, it's crazy because like I feel like they got worse once like Kyrie got there. I don't want
Yeah.
to put it all on Kyrie. Obviously, Luka missed games and stuff like that, but like,
They don't.
just not. I don't think it's really a good fit, honestly. Um, I could easily see Luca wanting out. He's not happy there. Mavs fans are already kind of going at him, saying like he can't win with him and he doesn't know how to play with other stars. He couldn't play with KP. I saw some wild statements. Somebody said he couldn't play with Dirk. I was like, bro, Dirk was washed when he got there. Like, I love Dirk, but like Dirk wasn't a superstar anymore when Luca got to the team. Dirk was on his last leg, almost out the league. Like, what are you
You
talking
know why people are also saying that? Because look at KP. We don't really care for the Washington Wizards, but KP is actually playing well. He's averaging
Yeah.
20. He's playing really, he's playing like an all-star.
Yeah, no. He definitely.
People are seeing that and they're like, what the hell? We
Yeah,
had,
him and Luca definitely didn't fit together. It's Luca. It's tough because Luca's very ball dominant. His style of play, he needs the ball in his hands like in order to succeed, and he can have the ball in his hand like anywhere from 70 to 80% of the time. So like when you play like that, it's kind of hard for another star to kind of get off and get theirs. So that's why
he,
KP looks much better.
this was crazy. He
Yeah.
averaged a lot of assists.
Oh yeah, I mean he had like against the Warriors, he had like 30 and 17 assists, like
That's why.
crazy. So I mean, but it's just like like I said, he's very ball dominant. He has the ball in his hands a lot. So playing with that as a second star, I could see how your game would suffer. Because when KP was there, they pretty much just used him as a stretch big.
Yeah.
He didn't really get those touches that he needed. So it's I could see people saying that it's tough to play with Luca, but I just feel like he's a generational talent. Like if he goes to your team's upgraded immediately. The Mavs also didn't really properly build around him either. I mean, you look at the guys that they have around him,
Yeah.
the Tim Hardaway Juniors and these
Yeah.
guys, like there's nothing special around him, to be honest with you. So I can see why the ball needs to be in his hands. I mean, now obviously he got Kyrie. That's like the best teammate he's ever had from a talent perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And Kyrie still gets his buckets. So, you know, there's that. So I guess you can't really say that he can't play with somebody else because Kyrie can still do his thing. But and Brunson played well when he was with Luca as well. So
I don't think I'm not going to really blame it on the ball dominant. I just think the Dallas Mavericks are just not that team. I'm not going to even blame it on Luca. I just think it's just the the Dallas Mavs. I just think their roster is horrible. You're literally counting on one guy to do everything. Christian Wood has been great. Don't get me wrong, but they need more than that.
yeah, and I never got the whole Wood coming off the bench thing. It's
Did they
just
stop
weird.
that though? Somebody said they stopped that.
I mean, I don't think so. Not that I mean, last I checked, he was coming off the bench.
That's
But I don't know. I mean, I just think it's weird. I've never understood like why he needed to come off the bench for that. Like, I mean, maybe it's because of size. He isn't undersized. Yeah, he still comes off the bench. Powell starts. Um, it's yeah. Wood played like 17 minutes to get today against the Hornets. Had like 9 points.
Wow. Mind you, he could do way more than that.
Yeah, it's just I mean their roster sucks too. It's like
Yeah,
you can't
their
like
roster.
they got Kyrie and Luca, but like outside of that, it's like you got Bullock. I feel like Bullock is really like a bench piece. You got Green, Powell, like Kleber, like yeah, there's nothing. Yeah, nothing special. I feel like Mark Cuban, those guys, they kind of let Luca down. I could definitely see him being out. Whatever team trades for Luca, they're gonna have to give up a lot, like a lot.
Yeah.
Because that's a top three player in the league right now. I would love to see him go to Denver. If I'm Denver, I'm giving up, Michael Porter Jr., they got Jamal Murray. They get anybody outside of obviously,
Seriously.
What's his name?
Take whoever you want.
Yeah, outside of why am I forgetting his name?
Joker.
Joker, yeah. Anybody outside Jokic, y'all can have like straight up. So
Mm-hmm.
you put Jokic and you put like Luka together, like now you're talking to the best passers in the NBA.
Yeah.
You're talking. Yeah, I would love to see him go there. Like I don't know, what other teams do you think he'd be a good fit at? Like,
I'd like to see him on the Knicks. But I want to keep Julius Randle.
random.
Yeah, just so we can make some noise in that playoffs. I think we could definitely make it past the first, second round, and then the third round is obviously where they would have trouble. But it's kind of like it'd be bright. It'd be bright for the Knicks going forward, and I'm pretty sure people are going to be like, you know what, I'm going to the Knicks now.
Yeah,
It's a
Luka's
big
there
market.
for
It's like a
sure.
It's a no-brainer. Go from a big market to another big market. Um,
Yeah, I would
maybe
love
Dallas
that.
can get RJ, and hey, if they want Brunson back, they can have him too.
I think, yeah, I'd like to keep Brunson. If they could take like RJ, Grimes quickly, those young guys, there's some draft picks. I'm perfectly fine. I'm sure they'd want to rebuild if they got rid of Luca anyway. So take RJ and our young pieces. If we kept Brunson, we kept Julius, and then we have Luca. Now you got like a good team. You could talk about like maybe getting to the Eastern Conference Finals, and then maybe you just gotta trade Randall or Brunson for another
And
star or something
obviously,
like that.
Luca could play that two position and still run point at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, because him and Brunson play together, so they already
Yeah,
know how to play with each
they're
other.
both
So
playmakers too.
yeah, exactly. So like, why not do that? And I like big point guards. I never cared for the small point guards. I'd rather have a Luca like a 6'7" type point guard. Anyway.
Shit, even if they were saying, "Hey, you got to come off the bench, Brunson," I mean, there's no debate about it.
Yeah, why not? You can come off the bench. I mean, you're coming off the bench for Luca, so it's like you can't complain.
Yeah, yeah, you're not going to complain, and you're going to get you're going to get good production out of Brunson. It's not like he's going to play shit minutes either.
No, no, exactly.
But I would like to keep Randall because Randall's top 15 player in the league. Now you have something going on there, and we could beat them freaking Celtics. Come on.
Yeah, with
We could
Luca.
beat the Celtics. What? You could beat this. We can make it happen. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but it's very, very doable.
Yeah, only people I'd be worried about is just like really the Bucks. Just to be honest, that's it.
That's all I'd be worried about.
That's all I'd be worried about. Anybody else like can get it. Like I wouldn't care. Those are pretty much the two teams I feel like would make a lot of sense. I don't really see. I mean, obviously the Bucks, but they don't have anything to offer. Like, yeah, those are the only teams that would really
Oh, that
make
would be
sense.
fair.
Haven't?
You went to the Bucks. Oh my god.
Yeah, oh, him and Giannis, it wouldn't even be fair. That's a wrap. That's a wrap. They're getting a chip. Like they're gonna just run through the East.
Nobody would watch the finals.
It
They
would be
just know what's gonna happen.
yeah, it would be a wash. Like no one's messing with them.
Mm.
Yeah, those are pretty much the only two teams I think would fit for them. And the Mavs just I don't know. I just think they haven't really they didn't do right. They didn't do like Luca right. I wouldn't be shocked if he leaves. It sucks because I like the Mavs as a franchise ever since obviously the Dirk days growing up as a kid. So um, hopefully they can kind of. Well, not actually. I'm glad that they're losing because the Knicks own their pick, so it actually works out that way. The Knicks actually will get a lottery pick, so can't complain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'll take that, but yeah, a lot of struggles over and Luca had mentioned, kind of alluded to the fact that the struggles that they're having is not just on the court, it's off the court. So I don't know what's going on in the locker room. I don't know. I don't want to blame Kyrie because we don't have any proof that he's doing anything, but I don't know if it's like Kyrie there or like stuff that's going on in his personal life. But Luca was just saying he's not happy playing basketball right now. And it's kind of like the most frustrated he's been throughout his career. So, something to keep an eye on for sure.
Don't be surprised if this is the end of Jason Kidd.
Oh yeah, Jake Kidd too is. I like Jake Kidd as a coach. I think he's a good coach. Like he coached pretty well, with the Bucks. He was an assistant with the Lakers I think when they won a championship, and then now he's over with the Mavs. But yeah, I could see him being gone too. Tough.
And it's not because it's not that I also agree with you. I think he does. He's a great coach. He does well. Look what he did for the Bucks. Giannis praised him like heavy. And it's just unfortunate, but Dallas is a big market in the end of the day. I mean, we forget that Dallas is a big market, and we forget that they have big personalities over there, like Mark Cuban, Luka Doncic, obviously, is a big personality. So I wouldn't be surprised if they went a different direction with coaching.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't know what coaches are out there that would be a good fit for them. I'm trying. I mean, there probably has to be some young assistant that we don't even know, because that's where the league is kind of trending more
Yeah,
than the coaches. I don't really know who's out there, but I don't even think their problem is coaching. I just think the roster sucks because they went
yeah.
to the Western Conference Finals last year. So I just think
It's definitely the roster. I mean, it's nothing to. I mean, I'm pretty sure nobody worries about that roster. It's
yeah,
kind of
no.
let Luka do what he does. Let's just beat the team. I think that's the strategy I'd go when I'm playing the Mavs.
Yeah, pretty much. Like Luka's gonna do his thing. Like he can get his 30 and 17, but
Yeah,
they could still lose because the other guys aren't really anything special. So
yeah.
it's a
Get
shame.
rid of everybody else except, I guess, Woods, Kyrie, and Luka.
Yeah, I don't know who's gonna really
Get a
take
good
those.
wing. Get a good guard, a backup guard for these guys. Like the Hardaway is horrible now. Like I don't. Is he even on the team?
Yeah, he's still on the team, Tim Hardaway Jr. I've never been a fan of his. He's just a streaky, he's a streaky shooter. That's it. He
Yeah,
doesn't play any defense at all. Like, and they lost their best defender. They traded him away, Dorian Finney-Smith.
yeah.
Tim Hardaway Jr. gives you like 14 points a game. Inefficient score. That's what he's always been.
Oh yeah, he's always been that.
You know,
He's always been that.
so there's that. I just feel like there's a lot of guards just going through it this this episode. Then you got Trey Young getting ejected yesterday in this game. He like pretty much chucked the ball at the ref. Like, what's going on down in Atlanta? I mean, they were a couple of years ago. They were in the Eastern Conference Finals, and their fall off was crazy.
Oh,
Like, they were like they looked like they were that year when they beat the Knicks in the first round. They went to the Eastern Conference Finals. They looked like they had a promising like years to come, but they've just been getting worse and worse. Last year they looked horrible in the playoffs. This year, they're pretty much like a playing team at this point. And, they ended up winning yesterday the game.
yeah.
But it kind of just makes you wonder, like, I don't know, you think they're gonna kind of break things up this offseason?
Oh. Yeah. I think it's over.
Yeah, the DeJounte Murray, kind of experiment hasn't worked out the way they planned. I mean, I thought that like
I
I
mean, it was
love the
the
pickup for
beginning.
them. Yeah, because like I like DeJounte Murray, great defender. And he's like a big point guard, lanky, can defend the other team's best perimeter player. So I thought it was a good pairing in the backcourt. But it just hasn't really worked out as far as it hasn't translated into them being like a really successful team this season. John Collins is, he's just a role player. He's getting 13 a game.
Is he a bust?
Yeah, he's a bust. I mean, he's a bust pretty much. 13 and 13 and 6.
Yeah, nah. It got worse.
Yeah, he's just a lob threat, really. Like, and he could shoot the three, but he's not really, I don't know. He's a role player. That's it. DeJounte Murray is the second best player on that team, hands down. You got Trey Young. We've always debated. I think we both think Trey Young is a star, not a superstar.
Yeah, I'm done with the Trey Young stuff. I mean, look at him. I mean, no offense, but it's like he hasn't done anything. You know what I mean? Like it's just whatever.
Yeah, I think they need to break it up. I mean, I keep Trey and I keep DeJounte Murray, but anyone else can go. Like everyone else, because Trey Young's giving you 26 a game, 26 and 10 assists. So he's getting buckets and he's a great passer.
Yeah.
But
Imagine if he had a star though.
yeah, if we had like a number one option to play with, it would be crazy. Like I think they definitely need to shake things up in the off season. I just don't know who they would, because like what are you gonna get for Collins? Like he's not a star player. So
Nobody wanted him. I remember they were trying to get rid of him, and I think Utah passed out.
Yeah, Utah passed on him. They've always had struggles trying to trade him to other teams because he's not worth what he thinks he's a lot better than what he really is.
Yeah, he's not.
He's on the second year of his 5-year, $125 million contract, and he doesn't really look like he's worth that money.
No.
You know,
He say this. He was good in the beginning, and then I don't know. He just fizzled.
Yeah, he hasn't really like developed anymore than what he was when he first came to the league. He definitely needs a point guard for sure. Like if he didn't play with a Trey Young, he'd probably be worse. Like what I mean? He's like he reminds me of like a Kenyon Martin type, you know.
Really? I think Kenyon was better.
I
You
mean
don't
just
think
this
Kenyon was better?
um not really. I feel like they're probably both the same because Kenyon was like, he had a mid range and he can catch alley oops. That was really it. It wasn't like he wasn't super skilled or anything like that. Because you remember when Kenyon went to the Nuggets, his points dropped like drastically because like he didn't have that Jason Kidd to like throw him lobs and stuff
He
like
said
that.
that the reason his points dropped was because he wanted Melo to develop. So I don't know how
Yeah,
believable.
right. It was because he didn't have a point guard to feed him those lobs and stuff. It wasn't because Chauncey Billups isn't that J Kidd type.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's why it's kind of like a Carlos Boozer. Like when he was with Darren Williams, he was getting you 19, 20 a game. When you play with D Rose, who is more of a scorer, his points dropped too.
Yeah, he was getting like 15.
Yeah, exactly. So it was completely different. So I just think like those types of bigs, they're like rim running bigs. They need a point guard to really set them up. They can't really get their own bucket. That's the thing. That's the difference between them and like an Amari. Like Amari had Nash, but like you saw when he didn't play with Nash, he was still like a superstar level player because he
Yeah.
could get his own bucket. Like whereas like the Kmart's and like a Collins and those types, like they need a point guard or they're not the same type of player. So I just think that's the deal with Collins. So like if you play with like I'm trying to see like more of a score first type point guard, like he played with Curry or something like that. Well, I don't know because Warriors offense is pretty like they pass the ball, they share the ball a lot. But if you play with a more score first type point guard, you wouldn't have the same effect.
Yeah, he wouldn't.
So Collins is different, and Trey Young. I don't know that whole. Well, I kind of just glossed over the him getting ejected. I guess with him just tossing the ball at the ref. I mean, he really chucked that ball at that ref. He was tight. I mean, it was a missed off. He was trying to get score and they called offensive foul. He was frustrated and he just kind of chucked the ball at them, um, at the refs. I mean, obviously the NBA they don't play that. They really protect their referees like at all costs.
I mean, as they should.
Yeah, no, I definitely. I think it's a bit much at times where like the NBA players can't even criticize, a referee without getting fined, but like I feel like refs will like miss call all the time and stuff like that and just get like no repercussions at all.
Yeah.
So it's a bit overboard, but like, what Trey Young did was just, that's inexcusable. You can't be doing that. Like I get you're frustrated, like, it's the heat of the game, heat of the moment, but you also can't just be throwing a rock at officials. It's, can't be doing that.
Yeah, it's not good for business.
Yeah, no, not at all. So, I'm not surprised by that. And, you know, he's probably also frustrated how the season's going. Like I said, they're in a play-in tournament. I don't even know if they'll even make the playoffs, to be honest with you. They're currently the eighth seed right now. Uh, I mean, I guess they probably have a good shot. I mean, because when you look at the play-in right now, you got the Heat, you got the Hawks, you got the Raptors, and the Bulls out east.
Mm.
The Heat are definitely probably better than the Hawks. They'll beat them, but the Hawks could beat the Raptors or the Bulls. I would hope.
Yeah.
I would hope because those teams are trash. Like I don't know. Like, and it's tough though because the Heat have been playing pretty well lately. They beat the Knicks the other day. They're like half a game behind the Nets for the sixth seed. So it might be the Nets, Hawks, Raptors, and Bulls. And if that's the case, I think the Hawks probably, at least from a talent perspective, they're the most talented of those.
Mm-hmm.
But the Nets, don't sleep on the Nets. They're actually playing pretty well too. Also, because
They have a bright future.
yeah, I like Mikal Bridges. He's been playing really well after the trade.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he's obviously a talented defender. He can shoot. 26 years old. He's getting close to his peak. I think he's a really good player. Um, he's going to make them well. Brooklyn's not far off from contending again for sure.
No, they're not. They just
Yeah,
need to keep it together, and in a sense, they got to focus on. Jack Vaughn's doing a good job with that squad.
yeah, he's doing a really good coaching job. He was dealt a hard hand with having to deal with Kyrie and KD situation, but he's got those guys playing hard.
And
So they're
competitive.
still, yeah, competitive. They're still in the thick of things as far as the playoffs are
Mm-hmm.
concerned. They're trying to hold on to that sixth seed. I wouldn't be surprised if they held on to it and made it to the sixth seed.
Yeah, me
NCAA
neither.
playoffs. They get smacked in the first round by Philly, but nonetheless, I think they're that's well. Who knows honestly? Because James Harden had a rough game the other day. He had like finished the game with like 5 points. So you never know.
Yeah,
You
you
never
never
know.
know.
Yeah, you never know. So
Nothing's gonna surprise me.
yeah, not at all. I wouldn't be shocked at all. Um, it's crazy, but yeah, I wouldn't be shocked at all if that happened. But you also have speaking of the Nets, Ben Simmons is saying he's most likely out for the season with a nerve impingement in his back. Like I don't know, like what do you make of that whole Ben Simmons situation? It's just been a weird year.
I mean, I wish him the best, but it's unfortunate that I didn't think this guy would be this bad. Um, I'm telling you, if he was even like Philly's Ben Simmons, I don't think KD would have left.
No, not at all. If he was at least that good, they would have been. I mean, he was getting me at least 15 a game and being like a
Exactly.
defensive player of the year candidate every year, like at least. This
Speaking of
is
defensive player of the year, Jaren Jackson's up for nominations. This is a guy that we had no hopes.
yeah. Jaren Jackson finally looks like a second option on a championship team. Like about time because I was worried. Because for me, he just looked like in the past he was just looking like a 3 and D 4.
Jason
Like,
Collins.
yeah, like a slightly better versions of Jason Collins. But this year, especially games without Ja, like he's been really stepping up. Like he had 37 the other days, 37 and 10. He's
Yeah.
doing his thing. So he looks like a finally like a valuable second option. And Ja's back now, so hopefully they can kind of just he can just kind of Ja can just keep his head low and they can win games and just go about their business because they got a talented young team. I'm not a fan of Dylan Brooks. He does a lot of talking and he's not nearly as good as he probably thinks he is.
Nah.
Um, but they got a good team and they've been at the top, one of the top teams out west all season long. And the West I think the West is wide open also. So, who knows? They're second place right now out West. I wouldn't be shocked if they beat the Nuggets or, any of these teams, honestly, out West.
Me
They don't
neither.
have to.
I am worried about the Lakers though, because whoever faces the Lakers is gonna be tough.
Yeah, they're playing well now. Those trades that they made in the middle of the season, getting rid of Westbrook and Pat Bev just made them so much better. They got more shooting, and LeBron's back today. Although they're getting smacked by the Bulls right now, but like LeBron's back. AD's been off and on as far as how well he's been playing, but nonetheless, they're gonna be healthy, and you can't like what's the word like look past a Lakers team with LeBron on it. LeBron
Yeah,
is he's a beast, so you can't look past that. So we'll see, but Lakers are going to be tough outing for anyone.
yeah, for
Especially
sure.
if they can be healthy, if AD and LeBron are healthy,
Hmm.
and LeBron's had a lot of rest, so he'll probably be better for the playoffs. So well, they're going to be a play-in team for sure.
Yeah,
They're not. I don't think they'll be a playoff. They'll be a play-in team, but if they end
I
up.
don't think they can maintain this.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, let's see. They won 3 games straight. They're actually not far from the 6 seed. They're only a game and a half, and they could easily be
Yeah,
a 6 seed because you got to remember the West has been trash this year. So they could technically still make it into the playoffs, and anything can
they
happen.
could.
Because
Anything's possible.
yeah, because no team out West is like a juggernaut. Like not even Nuggets are first place, but they're not like I wouldn't fear the Nuggets if I was playing them.
Mm-mm.
You
I don't
know,
think anybody fears the Nuggets.
I mean, the Suns, KD's out for the season. They'll probably come back in the playoffs, but like they don't really have any chemistry. Obviously, because he hasn't played. Like the Clippers have been a disappointment. Warriors are 6 seed right now, won 3 games straight, but they're horrible on the road. They're 9-29 on the road.
That's unfortunate. That
Kings are
matters. Games like that matter.
yeah, Kings are obviously it's their first time going to the playoffs. They're young, so I don't expect much out of them. Grizzlies they got a little bit of experience, but they don't they look good. They don't scare me though. They're not juggernaut or anything. So we'll see. We'll see. I can't wait for the playoffs to happen. See what's going on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were talking. Yeah, we were talking about Ben Simmons being out. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out. I've never seen a fall off like this. I just think he's.
I
I don't
think
know.
it's unfortunate, man. It's a bad fall too. I don't know. I don't see him lasting long in the NBA. I'm calling it now.
He has the worst contract in the NBA by far. Like that,
Yeah,
that's
but
that's untradeable. No one wants that. And
he's making money for free.
yeah, when his contract's over, he'll be lucky to like hard pressed to get even a minimum deal. You know what I mean? Because like he's not really playable at this point. Um,
I think you have to give him a vet minimum.
yeah, maybe like a vet when his contract's over, like a vet minimum, come off the bench, maybe just play defense. But that's pretty much it.
Uh,
Um,
I
I
don't
don't even,
know.
yeah, I don't even think he's the defender that he once was. So it's like,
I know. I don't see what everybody else sees.
yeah, because he was an
He.
amazing defender. Now, not so much. He's
I
pretty
love Philly
shitty.
Ben. Philly Ben Simmons was nice.
Yeah, man, that
You could
dude. When
build
he,
a team around him, even if he was getting 15 to 20 a game. There was one year he almost got 20, right?
nah, he never.
No, it
He
was always like
had,
15.
yeah, he had games where he scored 40 and stuff. Like, but it was never consistent. He just, I don't know. He just didn't care about scoring or just afraid to score. I don't know.
It's funny. Everyone that knows him said that he can shoot. He was shooting in LSU.
Yeah, he was, and he was shooting like rookie year. I don't know what happened to him.
Yeah, in his rookie year, his summer league debut, he was shooting threes. He was just shooting in general.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know, man. Just been bad, 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 bad.
yeah, he's one of the biggest disappointments in like NBA history. One of the biggest like what
Yeah.
ifs for sure. Who knows? Uh, but yeah, it's kind of crazy. He's gonna be out with some nerve injury. Like, the Jets don't really need him at this point. I mean, they'd be better, obviously, if he was playing, but they don't really need him at this point. But time will tell. Anything else we missed this
No, that's
week?
all I got.
Yeah, well, as always, check us out on social media at Pick and Pop Show on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. If you want to donate to the show, $ Pick and Pop Show on Cash App. Until next time, guys.
Peace.